Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be discussing Brutal Doom's weaponry since Brutal Doom is mostly what I play. I'll be talking about how each weapon works, tips for each gun, and how they fare with each monster. However, I won't talk about damage numbers and stats since there's no formal wiki on the stats. Also, this is focused around my experiences with Brutal Doom version 21, so nothing's official. The first weapon is the Fist. These are your go-to melee weapons if you don't have a chainsaw. They don't do a lot of damage at all and really weren't meant for that reason. Instead, they serve a different purpose, and that's to perform glory kills if you acquire the Berserk Pack or Demon Rune. Once you picked up either one, you could choose between two modes, Smash or Rip and Tear. Smash mode gives your strikes more power, can kill zombies, pinkies, imps very easily. The true star of the show is Rip and Tear. Hit any enemy enough times and you'll perform a brutal execution move on your opponent. All enemies can be glory killed, including the Cyber Demon and Spider Mastermind. This does two things. For one, it makes you invulnerable to all damage during the animation, meaning if you're low on health and need some extra time to plan out your next move, you can do so safely. The second thing it does is regen a small portion of your health with each glory kill. Combine this with the invulnerability and you can chain kill monsters very easily. There is one caveat. Depending on how strong the monster is determines how easily you can perform the glory kill. A zombie may only take 1 to 2 hits to trigger a glory kill, while a Cyber Demon may take up to 20 hits. The second melee weapon is the chainsaw. For Brutal Doom, this is your actual go-to melee weapon if you run out of ammo. There isn't much to say about it honestly. It does an incredible amounts of damage to all monsters and can even stun lock. If you use the chainsaw against zombies, imps, and pinkies, and maybe even the Revenant, you can easily handle them with no problems. On the other hand, Hell Knights, Barons, Mancubus, and Archviles will require more skill to kill because of their high amounts of health. You'll actually probably die to other monsters attacking these higher tier enemies because they rarely fight alone. If you're unlucky to face a Cyber Demon, your best option is to find ammo or run past him if possible. He has a really fast melee attack that can instantly kill you, and you can't stun lock Cyber Demons, making them really hard to kill. I'm going to talk about these next two guns together because they are equally useless in my eyes. Both guns do lousy body damage, making headshots a must in order to kill. The SMG fares better against lower tier enemies such as zombies, imps, and pinkies. Anything after that is a waste of time honestly, and you're better off finding ammo for other weapons. The pistol can be ignored entirely even with its burst fire mode because the SMG does its job better. Even then, the SMG should be your last resort if you're 100% out of ammo. I never like these weapons at all because they don't serve any true purpose against any particular enemy. These guns aren't bad by themselves, but are so outclassed by any other weapon that they become a second thought and are rarely used. Any weapon from here on out is going to be very useful and have specific purposes. The assault rifle is what defines Brutal Doom and shows off a particular mechanic extremely well. Headshots. This weapon originally replaced the god-awful and useless pistol in the original Doom for something more fitting to Brutal Doom. Because every enemy with a head can be shot in the head, this makes the assault rifle incredibly useful at any range and against all non-boss monsters. Even if you just land body shots, it still does decent damage, and against low tier enemies it only takes 1 to 2 hits to the head to kill. I'm kinda surprised that I don't have much more to say about the assault rifle. Overall, it's a pretty simple gun to use, just aim for the head. The chain gun is a fast firing, high DPS weapon that shares a lot of the same stats as the assault rifle. Unlike the original chain gun, this chain gun has to spin up first before firing. You can right click to have the gun spin up, but you do allure any monsters nearby to your presence. Any low tier enemies are torn to shreds instantly and don't stand much of a chance against you. Higher tier enemies will have a low chance to be stun locked for a brief period of time, preventing them from attacking. Cyber Demons are immune to this, so be warned. Because the chain gun shares similar stats to the assault rifle, aiming for the head is an extremely viable way of dealing with higher tier enemies and can also kill the Cyber Demon in a decent amount of time. I wouldn't recommend anything past close range, although mid-range isn't a crazy option either. If you're not landing the vast majority of your shots, then the target is way too far. Instead, switch to your assault rifle or any other accurate weapon to finish the job. If you thought the original shotgun was busted in Doom, you have no idea what busted is. This shotgun is the ultimate weapon. It can snipe at ridiculous ranges, it can clear hordes of low tier enemies in seconds, it can be used to kill any and all high tier enemies. If I find ammo for this gun, I'm using it. I use this weapon when I'm supposed to be using the rocket launcher. I use this gun when I should be using the BFG. Before version 20, if you aim down sights and fired the gun, it would unaim the shotgun and pump it before aiming it again. But in version 20 and 21, you can keep the gun aimed down range and still rack the shotgun, doubling its fire rate. I love this gun to death, and I easily have the most kills with it by far out of any gun in this game. The next shotgun is the Super Shotgun. I like to describe this weapon as the rocket launcher without the boom at the end. In fact, if you land all the pellets, it does the exact same amount of damage as a single rocket, making it a really good substitute if you run out of rocket ammo. Me personally, I love using this weapon on Pinkies, Revenants, headshotting Hell Knights, and anything basically flying. It's not to say you can't use this thing for anything else, because just like the shotgun, you can easily snipe with it too. If you do decide to kill any low tier enemies besides the Pinky, I suggest firing each barrel individually because that's also a feature. Actually, if you land all your pellets, or the vast majority of the pellets on a Mancubus, it'll actually knock them backwards a little bit, so you can actually prevent them from firing their weapons if you chain your shots accordingly. The rocket launcher is pretty self-explanatory. It's used mostly on higher tier enemies, including bosses. Although the Cyber Demon is immune to splash damage, so you'll have to land direct hits in order to kill him. Other than that, it basically one-shots any monster that doesn't have higher health than a Revenant. It's also very useful on hordes of lower tier enemies as well. Even if the blast doesn't kill them, zombies and imps will be knocked down and stunned, allowing smaller weapons to finish them off, or you can just fire another rocket at them. You can use this weapon on Pain Elementals and Cacodemons, but beware. Cacodemons will actively dodge rockets, so use your Super Shotgun instead. Pain Elementals spawn Lost Souls, which love to get close, so you might blow yourself up when confronting them. The second to last gun is the Plasma Gun. The Plasma Gun is basically a more accurate chain gun without the headshot damage. Instead, its damage is increased overall. It does have an alternate fire mode that acts like a shotgun, but it takes time to charge. The Plasma Gun also has a small amount of splash damage, so be warned when using it up close. Arachnotrons or Revenants can be stun locked to the point of not being able to fire their weapons, so use this to your advantage. It's honestly a gun I don't have a lot of experience using too often, and that's because it also shares the same ammunition as the BFG, which is extremely useful, honestly. This is by far not a bad weapon at all and is incredibly powerful, I just don't use it too often. Do I really have to talk about the BFG? I mean, there isn't much to say. Its presence in the gaming community has put it as a gun that's straight up overkill even for Doomslayer himself. It instantly boils the liquids in your body, causing you to explode. If you want a tip on how to use the gun, you simply point it at a room and watch everything get turned into paste. There you go. Now, there are a lot of added weapons, just like the SMG and the pistol, that I'll go over briefly, just because I don't have a lot of experience with them or any knowledge about them. They're very rare to come by, and I haven't seen them too often or used them too often, so I'm just kind of winging it. The Grenade Launcher. Incredibly useful for groups of low-tier enemies and Cacodemons since they can't dodge it like the Rocket Launcher. The Railgun, a powerful sniper rifle-like weapon. It can also pierce through thin walls and enemies, making it ideal for collateral headshots. The BFG 10,000. Take the BFG 9,000 and say fuck it to the damage values. The Assault Shotgun. Take the shotgun and say fuck it to the damage values. The Unmaker, a Doom 64 weapon that was brought into Brutal Doom. Extremely high damage beam weapon that allows you to spin in circles and kill pretty much everything. Super Flamethrower. You are the US soldiers and they are the Viet Cong. The MG42, you are a Nazi and they are the US soldiers. Mancubus and Revenant Cannons, cool pickup weapons that are relatively powerful, don't use them except when panicking and accidentally switching to them. Well, there you go guys, almost the entirety of Brutal Doom's weapons talked about in one video. I had a blast making it and I'm excited to keep making more content for the 12 subscribers that I already do have. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe and I'll see you guys for more content. Thanks, peace out.